Hello friends, welcome to today's video. My name is Tanya. If we have not met, hi. I like to talk about books. That is something you also like to talk about or watch. I hope you stick around and watch this video and I don't know, just have fun with me here on my channel. So today I'm here to do my November wrap up and tell you about the books that I read in November. We have a nice little stack. There's one Kindle one, but otherwise I think I read 7 books in November, which is pretty good because I did finish some pretty thick ones that I've been meaning to get to. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about these. As always, comment down below what was your favorite read of the month, because I like to try to add them obviously to my ever-growing TBR. I hope you're all doing well. It's crazy, it is December, the last month of the year, which is crazy because I'm really excited. I'm hoping to make some more videos about my least favorite and favorite books of the year, all the fun things that you guys see here on BookTube as well. I'm hoping to get to filming, and I should also be having a book haul coming up because my birthday was in November, so of course I was gifted a lot of really fun books and I want to tell you guys about that, so stay tuned. That's going to be coming up in my next video. But also, before we begin, I just wanted to do, look how exciting it's. If you're an Anne of Green Gables fan, I got this for my birthday for my sister. I just had to tell another book person. You guys don't get, I was so excited. I was like, yes. So I have not had any like Anne of Green Gables merch, I guess. And Anne of Green Gables is like my favorite, one of my most favorite stories. So anyway, but let's get into it and talk about these books. I'm not really going to go in any particular order, just grabbing them. But the first one is this. And I finally finished this. So obviously, if you don't know, this is part of the ACOTAR series. This is currently the most recent book that is out of Court of Silver Flames. I ended up rating it a 3 out of 5, I believe. For me, I will be honest, this took me about 8 months. I started this like 8 months ago and I finally was like, I just need to finish it. And I finally did. And I have to say, I'm struggling with Sarah J. Maas sometimes because the second book of this series I loved, and I think I had high expectations, and I don't know, it just really didn't do it for me. I really like Cassian. If you don't know, it follows Cassian and Nesta's story, and I really like Cassian. I really did like his character. I just love his backstory and learning more about him. I wish we had a little bit more. Nesta, just kind of, I see the growth in her as a character, but it kind of bothered me. And also, I just felt like there's just like too much to say, and yet looking back I'm like, what did we even say? Like, I felt like it's very similar with a lot of like Sarah J. Maas, like a lot of the action happened at the end and that was fun, but like getting there just like was so tedious for me. I just wasn't really sucked into it, because if a book is like, for me, if I get into it, I can fly through 800 pages like nobody's business. Like 2 days I can do it, but this, like I said, this took me 8 months. I just had no desire to really pick it up. I'm glad I finished it, but like this, I don't know, it just wasn't, it wasn't really anything really for me, and I'm kind of like, okay, glad I did it. And it's fun to be like back in that world and see those other characters, but it just didn't really do it for me. So I don't know, we'll see. I just feel like Sarah J. Maas was kind of my first fantasy author, and now that I've gotten to like so many other ones that I really enjoy more, that she's not exactly my favorite fantasy author, to be honest. And I've always mentioned this, but I don't like her spice scenes. They're just very, I don't know, I just don't like them to me. I feel like she's really bad at writing them, which is like what a lot of this book is, which also I didn't like, because I'm like, I get it, they have chemistry, they're doing things, but I was just like, I just wanted more character development and more things, and I was like, I didn't really care to just talk about Cassian's junk, you know. Like, I just was like, okay, we get it. Like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it. So there's that. And the next one, like many people, I read Iron Flame. I had pre-ordered this and I got it. I know some people had some issues with shipping or other stuff. I thankfully did not. I got it right when it came out. I have to say, I ended up, I rated this a 4 out of 5, but I feel like it could also be a 3.5. I was so excited for this because I loved Fourth Wing. That one was a 5 out of 5 for me. I really enjoyed the story. I was so excited for Iron Flame. And I feel bad because I love pretty much all of Rebecca Yarros' books. I've mentioned this in my last video. I love her writing, but I really struggled with this one, especially the first half. I just felt like I felt a little bit lost. I felt like there were so many different characters being introduced, side characters, and I was like, what is happening? I just felt confused a lot. I know a lot of people also said that. I did finally like, it kind of picked up with some of the action. I really liked that. Some of the things at the ending, I don't want to give it away, but I did kind of predict one of them. So that was a little like, okay, I kind of saw that coming. The ending is kind of crazy. I'm sure you guys keep hearing about it. I'm not going to say anything, but I am like, I have so many questions. I'm curious, like, what's happening? So I definitely do. I'm going to continue with the series. My love, of course, is the dragons. And I don't know if you guys can see here. So actually, I'll show it. My friend, for my birthday, she gave me, I'll try to see if I can find the Etsy shop. I'll hold it up for you guys. So this is from Fourth Wing. The two, oh my gosh, Violet's dragons. Let me get this. I'm struggling. Is this just not like the best thing? This brought me so much happiness. I want to go back to the shop and get what's her name, Zayden's dragon too, but they're all cute. I love the dragons. I think that's what does it for me. Yes, some of the political intrigue and other things are interesting, but I love the dragons. Like, I just want a dragon of my own so bad. I love their sass, I love their attitude, their fierceness. I just love them so much. So that's one of the big things that keeps me coming back. Like I said, I do want to read it, but it felt a little bit, I felt like I wasn't really sucked into it either, so that was a little bit disappointing for me. But it's still, I mean, I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I got to be back in that world and back with my dragons. But yeah, that was one that I read. The next one is Wait for You, and this is by Jennifer Armentrout, and she is the author who did A Blood and Ash, that series, and I did really enjoy most of the books in that series, but I just happened to find this at a consignment store for like 90, or not consignment, but like thrift store for 99 cents, and I was like, oh, I'm trying to read through her books. I know she's done different romance as well, so I just wanted to try it out, and I really liked it. It was just like, I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't heard of it. I ended up bringing this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good. It's a college romance, and it follows the story of Cameron and, what is her name? Oh, Avery. And Avery has had something traumatic happen. It's kind of hinted, and you're kind of discovering more as you're going, but we don't really know what it is. And so she moves like from Texas all the way to, I forget where on the East Coast, but just basically like very totally different, away from everything. And she's trying to get away and to start over. And when she's there, she runs into Cameron, and he's kind of like the hot pants guy on campus. And so of course they have like a literal run-in. She runs into him when she's late for class. But there's like the story, and you follow their romance. I did enjoy it. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm excited to check out the other books in the series. But I think if you're looking for a quick romance, it does have a little bit of traumatic things. Like, I don't want to give it away because it's part of the story, but just be aware, maybe look it up if you're nervous, but about that. But I do think it's a really good story. There's parts of it, because it has little stars, that a big part of it is around their like astronomy class, and so like all that kind of stuff I find interesting about like space and constellations and things like that. It does mention that as well, but I just thought, yeah, it was a really good one. It has a keep cover, and I put some of the other books in the series on my wish list because I definitely want to read some of the other books as well. The next book is the first book in a series, and it is called Cinder, and this is part of the Lunar Chronicles series. And I was really excited because a friend of mine who also gave my Dragonfly book friend, Laura, she told me about the series. It's one of her favorites, and she actually gave me the rest of the series for my birthday as well. I'm so excited, and I love the old covers. I know they've come out with new ones, but I really like the old ones. And if you can kind of tell, it's kind of like a robot, but basically it sounds weird, but it's a cyborg retelling of Cinderella, and each of the books in the Lunar Chronicles is some sort of fairy tale retelling. So this one is Cinderella, and it sounds strange, but I would say it's kind of like fairy tale dystopian retellings, but it's really cool. Like I said, it's part of the series, the Lunar Chronicles, and takes place in this kind of dystopian future world, where Cinder, she is a cyborg, and so she has like, she's human, but then she also has like non-human parts, like her leg and things like that. And essentially the premise is that there is a plague. Kind of gave me a lot of like COVID flashbacks, a lot of the things, but there is this plague that's going on, and it just follows, I don't want to obviously give it away, but she's trying to solve some of the things going on. There's a romance subplot as well. I just think it's done well. There's elements of fantasy along with the dystopian elements, and I'm really liking this series. I have started the second one, Scarlet, I believe. Yeah, Scarlet is the second one. But I think if you like, especially fairy tale retellings, I thought it was done really well. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. I definitely feel like there were some secrets revealed. Parts of it were a little bit predictable, but it was still a fun read. It's a young adult series, I believe. And I am excited to see what's next. But if you've been wanting to check it out, I also was listening to it on audiobook at the same time as I was reading this. And yeah, I really like it. I love her little, not cyborg, but like her robot friend. What's her name? I forgot her name, but in the story, it's just cute, like the characters and learning about the lunar world and all these other different worlds that they're in. So I really liked it, and I would recommend it if you're in for especially something kind of like fairy tale fantasy. And it's an easy world to get into. I feel like it was not like, I didn't feel like very confused at all, or it was easy to follow along the storyline. Then the next book I'll talk about is my Kindle read, which was Finding Cinderella. And this one, I believe, I read it on my Kindle because I think I got it for free when it was like a Kindle day or something. But it is the third book in the Finding Cinderella or something. It's a Colleen Hoover series, and it's a mini novella, and it follows one of the characters that is the best friend, who's referenced in the other books. And like I said, it's a novella, so it's pretty quick. But basically, it's following this guy. Forgot his name, I'm sorry. But he is trying to find his Cinderella because he had this run-in with a girl in like a janitor closet at high school. So it is a high school romance kind of book. And he ran into her, like they kind of had a moment in, let's just say that, in the janitor closet, which also I'm like, where is this happening in high school? Like what was going on? But anyway, and he didn't really see her because it was dark. So he's thought about her, but he just hasn't been able to find his Cinderella. It's hinted in the other books in the series, but this book is him basically trying to find his Cinderella, and it follows this romance that he has with a friend who is the friend of Hope or Sky in the other books. If you read it, it's intertwined. Again, it's quick. It's a little palate cleanser, quick romance. I liked it because it did kind of follow the story of, like I said, the characters who are mentioned in the other parts. If you are like hopeless and finding hope, it's part of that series. But I also had a lot of questions because it kind of was a serious topic in a way, like that was mentioned. I don't want to give it away, but I was kind of like left with a lot of questions at the end. Like I was like, wait, what just happened? Like we're just moving on with our lives. We're just going to be happy and like, woo, we're in a relationship, but we're going to forget everything that like happened before. Like I just had a lot of questions, and it's a series by Colleen Hoover, so I feel like her writing, you know, always is good and it sucks me in. But I just like, yeah, I had a lot of questions at the end. I was like, okay, so it wasn't terrible. I think I rated it a 3 out of 5. But again, it's just like one of those series, one of those books where it's like you get more information on the characters. It's nice to know. But I still had all these questions, and because it's not a full-length like book or a novel, you're not really getting all those questions and all those details that you would from a regular book, so I get that. But it's still fun. I'm glad I finished up that series. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars for that one. And the next book, which has now become like one of my latest obsessions now going into December, is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I got this for my birthday from my sister-in-law. This was so good. I said 4 out of, I feel like it's 4.5 out of 5. I am flying through this series just for December wrap up, but I flew through this. I loved it. I didn't know what to expect because I kept hearing a lot about it. I've never read anything by this series. I definitely now have her other series, the Caraval series, on my wish list for Christmas. But it's just so good. I feel like it has the fairy tale fantasy elements. It has like tension, like enemies to lovers. It's a very good like world building. It's not confusing. It's really easy to get into, and it's just like character driven, and the plot. I also loved it because I felt like there were little plot twists that I did not expect, and I love that because sometimes in fantasy romances you're like, okay, I kind of saw that coming. I did not, like just different little elements. Obviously I don't want to give it away, but I thought it was such a pleasant surprise. And like I said, I read this book I think within less than 2 days. It was so easy to read, but yet so good. And if you don't know about it, it follows Evangeline, and she essentially she has a broken heart because the man that she loves is marrying someone else, and so she makes a deal with fate. It's kind of like gods in a way in this world, and it's the Prince of Hearts, Jax, and so she makes this deal with him, and then things just kind of spiral from there because things are never as they seem when you make deals with fates. And it's so good. I just think it's just such a good distraction, just a whole different world, and it's just a really fun world to be in, and it's just so good. And this is like my new favorite series right now. I'm loving it. It's just so good. Then one of the other books, and the last one that I'm going to talk about in today's video that I read, is another Colleen Hoover. This was also a gift for my birthday, just because I'm trying to get through Colleen Hoover's books, and it is the book Without Merit. I ended up rating this 3 out of 5. So it follows the story of Merit, and she is in high school and she's just kind of struggling with some things, but it follows her family and just some things going on, and it's like, just, yeah, I would say it's like a family drama in a way. But you guys, the thing that drove me nuts about this is the names. I was talking about this with my friend. The characters in this book were just so obnoxious, such obnoxious names, where I felt like you can have unique names, but they were just so difficult to believe. Like, it was so distracting because it was like Merit, Luck, Barnabas, like all in one family, plus all these other names, and I was like, that was very distracting. I know it seems silly, but if you're like, maybe you understand. I was talking to my friend about this, and I was like, it just was distracting because it's supposed to be like modern day Texas, and I was like, you cannot tell me that there's a family with that many obnoxious names. It's just like Colleen Hoover, stop. But I ended up rating it a 3 out of 5 because the first half I was really sucked in. There's like mysteries. You're trying to figure out what's going on, these relationships. I don't want to give it away again, but there's like this chemistry between this boy that she should not be having chemistry with, and there's a whole backstory to it, and I was so sucked into the first half, and then when some of the secrets and things were revealed, it kind of just took away some of the drama. And then I felt like the last half of the book, even though it's an important topic to talk about, it almost kind of felt like a self-help book, which I just was like, I get it, but this is not what I'm wanting. You know, like, it's hard because it's like, I understand these topics are important, but this is not what I want in a book right now. If I wanted a self-help book, I would go read that. So I don't know, that's just my personal take on it. It wasn't horrible, I finished it, but 3 out of 5 for Colleen Hoover. Definitely not one of my favorites from her, but I'm glad that I did read it because I have been curious when I was, you know, about what the story was. So definitely check it out, but I do feel there's other different Colleen Hoover books that I prefer a lot more than this one. So there you guys have it. Those are the 7 books that I read in November, and I'm so excited to just be reading some more things in December, and just to see where the rest of some of these series books are going, and just hopefully get some holiday reads in as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading, and until the next one, bye everyone.